Sir, now that the class exams are finally over, I wanted to talk to you about something. I've been thinking about my English. I feel like I did well in the exams, but I don't know if I'm ready for the next level.
Of course, Ravi. I'm really glad you're thinking ahead. English is one of those subjects that isn't just about passing exams. It's about communication, critical thinking, and creativity. You've done well in Class 10, but I understand what you mean. The transition to higher levels of English can be challenging, but with the right approach, you can definitely take your skills to the next level. Where do you think you need the most help? Is it reading, writing, speaking, or something else?
Honestly, I think it's a mix of everything. I'm decent at grammar and vocabulary, but when it comes to writing essays or expressing my thoughts in English, I don't feel confident. And when I try to speak English in conversations, I get stuck sometimes, or I end up using simple words instead of the right ones. I want to improve my fluency and sound more natural.
That's a good observation. Improving your English will require you to work on several areas, but we can break it down step by step. The first thing I want you to understand is that English isn't just about rules and memorization. It's about thinking in English. Once you start thinking in the language, fluency and confidence come naturally. Let's start with your writing. You said you have trouble expressing yourself in essays. What usually happens when you sit down to write?
I struggle to organize my thoughts. I know what I want to say, but when I try to write it down, it doesn't come out the way I imagined. Sometimes my sentences feel disconnected, or I get stuck finding the right words to express my ideas. And if I look at my writing later, I feel like it's too basic.
That's a common problem, and it's something we can definitely work on. One of the first things I recommend is that you start practicing structured writing regularly. Here's what I mean. Before you start writing anything, an essay, a story, even a paragraph, take a few minutes to outline your thoughts. You can jot down your main idea, then break it into smaller points you want to cover. This helps organize your thoughts, and once you have a clear structure, you can focus on expressing each point more clearly. Have you ever tried free writing?
No, I don't think so. What's that?
Free writing is a technique where you write continuously without worrying about grammar, spelling, or sentence structure for a set period of time. It helps you get your thoughts on paper without overthinking or hesitating. You could start with 10 or 15 minutes a day. Just pick a topic, set a timer, and write whatever comes to mind. Don't worry if it's messy. The goal is to let your ideas flow. You can edit it later. This will help you become more comfortable with expressing your thoughts. As you keep practicing, you'll notice that your writing becomes more fluid, and you won't get stuck as often.
That sounds interesting. I'll give it a try. But what about vocabulary? I feel like my choice of words is too simple sometimes. I read some of the essays my classmates wrote, and their vocabulary is much more advanced.
That's a good point, Ravi. Expanding your vocabulary is key to improving both your writing and speaking skills. But it's important to remember that vocabulary isn't just about using fancy words. It's about using the right words. The best writers and speakers are those who can choose words that clearly convey their ideas, whether they are simple or complex. Here's my advice for improving your vocabulary in a meaningful way. First, make reading a daily habit. The more you read, the more words you'll be exposed to. Try to read a variety of materials, novels, newspapers, online articles, even poetry. As you come across new words, keep a vocabulary journal. Write down each new word, its meaning, and an example sentence. But don't stop there. Try to use those words in your own writing and speech.
I do read, but I think I need to push myself more. I usually stick to short stories or whatever's required for class. Maybe I should try reading more challenging books.
Absolutely. Reading books that are just above your current level can help you grow. Start with something that interests you, but don't be afraid to challenge yourself with more advanced material. You'll notice that as your vocabulary expands, your confidence in using those words will grow too. One more thing, don't focus too much on memorizing lists of words. Vocabulary needs to be learned in context. For example, when you learn a new word, don't just memorize its definition. Look at how it's used in a sentence, what other words it's commonly paired with, and how it changes meaning in different contexts. The more you understand the nuances of a word, the easier it will be to use it naturally.
That makes sense. I've been trying to memorize words for the exams, but I think I need to see how they fit in real sentences more. I'll definitely try that. What about speaking, sir? I know writing is important, but I really want to get better at speaking English fluently. Sometimes I can't find the words quickly enough, and I end up repeating the same phrases.
Speaking fluently takes practice, and it's one of the areas where many students feel self-conscious. But the only way to improve is to speak as much as possible. You don't need to wait for a formal setting. You can practice speaking English in your everyday life. First, start by speaking English at home, even if you're just talking to yourself. Describe your day, your thoughts, or even what you see around you. This may feel strange at first, but it will help you become more comfortable forming sentences on the spot. Second, surround yourself with English as much as possible. Watch English language movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos. Pay attention to how native speakers pronounce words, how they use expressions, and how they structure their sentences. You can also use language learning apps that focus on conversation practice. Lastly, find a speaking partner. This could be a friend, family member, or classmate who also wants to practice English. Set aside time each day to have a conversation in English. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel.
I like the idea of practicing at home. I think I can try explaining things to myself in English, like a mini speech. And I'll definitely ask my friend to practice with me. We've been talking about improving our English together.
That's great. Speaking with a friend is one of the best ways to practice because you'll feel more relaxed and you can help each other along the way. Remember, it's not just about speaking quickly, it's about speaking clearly and confidently. Don't worry too much about making mistakes. It's part of the learning process. Also, here's a technique you can try. When you learn new words or phrases, practice using them in your conversations. Even if it feels awkward at first, it's important to push yourself to use new vocabulary. The more you do this, the more natural those words will feel.
I'll give it my best shot, sir. I know I have to put in a lot of effort, but I'm ready to work on it.
I'm sure you'll do great, Ravi. You've already shown that you're serious about improving, and that's half the battle. One last piece of advice. Don't rush the process. Language learning takes time, and it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Set small, realistic goals for yourself, like reading a certain number of pages a day, writing one paragraph a day, or having a 10-minute conversation in English every day. As you achieve these small goals, your skills will improve gradually, and you'll build confidence along the way.
I'll keep that in mind. Sometimes I get impatient, but I know it'll take time. I'll start with the steps you suggested. More reading, practicing free writing, and finding ways to use new words in conversations. And I'll make sure to speak more, even if it's just to myself.
That's a great plan. And remember, I'm always here if you need guidance or feedback. Whether it's your writing or your speaking, feel free to share your progress with me, and I'll help you refine your skills.
Thank you so much, sir. I feel much more confident now that I have a clear plan. I'm excited to start working on my English.
You're welcome, Ravi. I'm glad to see you so motivated. Just take it one step at a time and enjoy the process. English is not just a subject. It's a tool for communication, and the more you practice, the more doors it will open for you. Keep me updated on your progress, and good luck.
I will, sir. Thanks again.
Thanks for watching this video. Please share this video with your friends and family.